Hey, you know how people make characters from media as D&D characters, like Iron Man or Anime 2 number 12? Wouldn't it be cool if instead of that, someone made character sheets from some fucking VTubers? No? You think that would suck? Well, too bad. I'm doing this. This is Nijisanji LazuLight as D&D characters. Rules of engagement. These are going to be custom D&D character sheets for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition that you could theoretically maybe run. So everything is going to be restricted to official books unless I really need a very small change for things to work with variant starting gold, custom backgrounds, PHP 125, and possibly some UA feats. I'm using a modified standard array for stats to keep things consistent, 16, 15, 14, 12, 10, 8, with Tasha's rules for character creation stats, so I can put a +2 and a +1 in any 2 stats I like, or a +1 into 3 stats I choose. Multiclassing is fair game, but I'll try to be sparing with it. Last thing to note for the character sheets is that levels are not standardized and can be whatever I feel works for each one. And of course, this will all basically be one big fucking meme. Please don't take it as gospel and kill me for it. And if it wasn't obvious, we're going to be kinda hard on D&D rules and character creation, and I will not have time to explain everything. So if you haven't already memorized every possible D&D character option in D&D, open whatever source for the rules you'd like, then buckle up. And remember, above all else, this is about the characters, the personas we call VTubers, not the people behind them. I will meme the shit out of them, but a meme this shall fucking stay. And remember that this is just how I would make these character sheets, and that my word is fucking law. With that settled, our first victim is Finana Ryugu, the tropical totally 1000 for real, pure mermaid of Nijisanji. Starting from the top, we need to translate tropical mermaid into D&D, and while there are merfolk, they aren't a playable option, so we're gonna have to get creative. Thankfully not too creative, because there are really only ever 2 options, even if we stretch it. Triton is the obvious answer. Just fucking ignore that bit. She's a tropical mermaid from the tropics who is tropical. The only other option is water genasi anyway, and they really aren't mermaids, and acid resistance isn't better than cold resistance, so get off my dick. Especially since genasi get acid resistance on account of already being watery and almost pre-melted a little bit. Obviously, Finana is a bit too solid for that, unless she was like thrown into a blender when I wasn't looking. Next core character feature is even easier, her class. Finana is the descendant of the sea dragon Ryugu. The draconic bloodline sorcerer is all about being descended from great dragons. The less easy part is deciding what D&D equivalent that draconic heritage is, since there's no ocean dragon option really. Step 1. What dragons get a swim speed? Gold, bronze, black, green, and white. But white dragons can't actually survive underwater and give cold damage, which I'm not fucking dealing with again. Now as you can see, none of these are great. Hell, none of them are even really that good. But thankfully, we have Fizzbands now, which is all about dragons. It even has sea serpents! That deal cold damage! So they don't actually fucking exist! Well, while Fizzbands does have a lot of other swimming dragons that don't help us, Amethyst, Topaz, Deep, the book also has dragon turtles, which are another ocean dragon-like thing, and they do fire damage, which is finally kinda sorta tropical themed. I don't know how to explain her being tougher from Draconic Bloodline Sorcerer though, and honestly, I don't want to. For her background, there is an actual anthropologist background in Tomb of Annihilation, and since Finana is literally canonically an anthropologist studying humans, I'm stealing its feature. I gave her background investigation proficiency for that, and performance proficiency because I think her songs fucking slap, and I know I'm making this up, so I get to pick this shit. She's also getting tech support Tinker's tools, and a language proficiency. Fantasy Hmong, because that's actually a language she actually speaks, and regular thing plus fantasy as a naming convention is really funny to me, and I will be doing it again. For her stats, Charisma is comfortably the highest, and gets the +2 bonus on top of it. Finna is very charming, and cute, and deserves it, and she's getting a sorcerer sheet anyway, so that just works out. Wisdom is going to be her lowest stat, because she deserves it, no filter having, bad idea making ass fish. However, Intelligence is actually going to be her second highest stat, because despite being a certified dumbass, she is also confirmed tech support, and she deserves credit for that. The rest of the stats I basically put down however I felt, not much to say. Dex 14, Con 12, Strength 10. For her sorcerer skill proficiencies, Persuasion was easy, but all the other options are pretty bad. so I went with Arcana, mostly because it's the closest thing D&D has to tech support. She's also getting Chaotic Good as an alignment because, well, fuck, if you apparently have seen literally nothing even tangentially related to Finana, I'm not sure why you're here. Go watch literally anything with Finna in it, Chaotic Good will become obvious instantly. Now we just need to figure out Finana's level, and given that she is hundreds of years old and royalty descended from dragons, she really can't be level 1. So she's level 2. This gives her access to Draconic Bloodline subclass at level 1, obviously, basic spellcasting, and Font of Magic, aka sorcery points. This very conveniently leaves out Meta Magic at level 3, which is perfect because does Finana really seem like someone who's in control? Really? For spells, Tritons already get Fog Cloud and later Gust of Wind at level 3. No, I don't know why the fish get Air Magic either. Wall of Water is only at level 5, as well as a whole 3 first level sorcery spells. Astonishing numbers, I know. Gave her Charm Person, Mermaid or Siren Song, Sleep, for Ismar, and Silvery Barbs, because she regularly says things that cause others great pain, and Shape Water and Friends as her cantrips. If you're mad at me for not going over all her cantrips, stay mad. I only went over all her leveled spells because she gets like 1.5 of them total, and I will not be doing it again. Full shoots with spells in the description if it bothers you so much. Next target! Pomu Rainpuff, the former Office Forest Fairy. Fairy's a playable race, easy start. Though nothing in D&D really gets as small as we need for Pomu, but Fairy could even solve that for us since it can cast Enlarge Reduce at level 5, if Pomu goes that high. She doesn't. Chaotic Neutral 2 right out the gate, even more obvious than Finana's alignment. Her class is less clear, but I think that Bard fits well enough. Bardic Inspiration could be her giving people big PP energy, and it comes with a fitting subclass too, the College of Glamour, which is based on the Fae, how convenient. For her stats, I actually want to start at the bottom, with Pomu's Abysmal, so bad it's funny, Tolerance for Spice, and her Lightweight Fairy Bones, and her Sensitive Skin. She's getting an 8 Constitution. Final answer, court adjourned. Her brain also canonically stays the same size when she gets big, approximately 70 grams of brain, or a little over 1/10 of a pound, so 10 and 12 for intelligence and wisdom respectively. This does mean her strength is pretty high at 14, but I'm sorry, there's only so much I can do while keeping this from becoming a complete circus. She can crush a blueberry between her thighs in tiny form, I guess. That counts enough for 14 now. Finally, put 15 in Dex with a racial +1 and 16 +2 in Charisma, both because this is a bar build, and because she got way too many people to click that fucking Pomu button. That's not nothing, something's up. Anyway, before covering skills and features, we need a background, and Acquisitions Incorporated gives us the Rival Intern, the closest thing we get to a modern OL. So Pomu is getting its Inside Informant feature. She's going to be getting Nature and Deception from her background. Nature because Forest Fairy, duh. And Deception because she's a fucking liar. And I'll be giving her a Language and Herbalism kit because Pomu Leaf has to come from somewhere. Now that we know her background, skills, and proficiencies, we can go over the class ones. Performance because of her beautiful singing voice and vocal range. Persuasion because again she got way too many people to click a button with her voice for her not to have it. And Intimidation because she's a fucking bully. Now really, all that's left to pick is level shit. I decided to go with level 4 for Pomu since she gets stronger from people believing in her, and the closest metric for that is her sub count, which as of right now is just over 491,000 subs. Technically making her level 5 right now would maybe be more accurate to her size changing magic, but would also give her 3rd level spells, which feels too strong for her. Level 3 is also fine and might be more generally accurate power level wise, but no lower because then she can't take Enlarge Reduce or get her Bard subclass. It can honestly be any of these levels, especially with Font of Inspiration at level 5, buffing her PP energy output. But at level 4, she still gets all the recognizable Bard abilities by this level, Bardic Inspiration, sharing her big PP energy, Spellcasting, Fairy Magic, the works. She also does get Expertise in really any of her proficient skills. I opted for Nature and Deception. Since she's level 4, she gets a feat, and this lets us give her her Wing Transformation ability, kind of. With Eldritch Adept as a feat, she can get a Warlock Invocation, which can be Mask of Many Faces, which lets her cast Disguise Self at will. TLDR, she can change her appearance at will with illusions. Yay. And we can't forget her subclass features, which are honestly just more sparkly, charmy fairy guff. She can become so stunning people around her get faster and tougher, as well as sing so beautifully people are charmed with it. When we spells list, I just picked whatever I felt fit, Tasha's laughter and invisibility included, because she deserves to cause some trouble sometimes, you know? I did make sure to include enlarge reduce, because she needs to change size. Fairies also get the ability innately once a day at level 5, and can then cast it with spell slots, so swap that out when you hit level 5. Finally, her equipment and... look, I don't know. She doesn't have a cannon weapon or instruments, pick whatever you want. But also, the whole point of this video is making full sheets, so take whatever weapon feels the most like it's from a Metal Gear game, a crossbow and dagger, sure, and then, spoons, bongos, and a beer bottle panpipe. Sure, there, done, we're moving on. Last but not least, Elira Pandora. Elira Pandora is level 20. Let's talk about that first. The big issue is that she is, in fact, a dragon, and thus the character sheet needs to be able to turn into a whole-ass, full-ass dragon like she can. And this can be done in D&D, with a 9th level spell, only available to druids and wizards. This is actually why I needed the freedom to fudge the rules a little bit. Originally, I was going to stay 100% in line with the rules, but then this just wouldn't work. By bending the rules the tiniest bit, sorcerers, or even just draconic bloodline sorcerers, can now learn shape change and become dragons, and we can continue. We're actually going to start with some ranger levels, because of Pickle. The actual first level doesn't really matter, because if you want to run this build from level 1, fucking don't! It comes online at level fucking 20. Do not do it. Anyway, what we actually need Ranger for is its subclass, Drake Warden. Drake Warden Rangers get a little baby dragon summon, which is perfect for Elira and even more perfect for Pickle. Unfortunately, this means we need to use Ranger. I wouldn't use Ranger if I didn't have to, especially since I'm limiting myself to the books and only tiny fixes, so I can't use Revised Ranger. Use Revised Ranger if you can. It makes Ranger feel way better to play, like in the description. The elements of the Drake summon can be picked and given Pickle poison damage because the purple spider cat earned it, and its appearance is not linked to the element like normal dragons are, score. The rest of Ranger isn't really important and we need to move on, so to be quick, swap Natural Explorer for Deft Explorer and take dragons as her favorite enemy, take the dueling fighting style, skip right over Primeval Awareness, and end at level 3 to get the subclass. Sorcerer is going to be the bulk of Elira's levels, but thankfully sorcerers don't get a lot of abilities, so being level 17 doesn't make this video 40 minutes long. She gets Meta Magic, which is hard to equate to VTuber Elira, so I just gave her Heightened, Empowered, Quickened, and Careful Spell. Thankfully, everything else is from Draconic Bloodline. Old you sorcerers don't get much. So Elira gets more AC when not wearing armor, and more health per level, she gets bonus damage on fire spells, and gets her trademark wings. Before covering the 4 ability score improvements she gets, we need to cover her base ability score. Because of her spiked bat, she basically has to be a strength build, which is an issue because Elira is not built. I mean, seriously, I don't want to hold to her alone because there's like 3/4 of a muscular armor across all Nijisanji women, but that doesn't make it better. I'm not giving her super high strength because we need more any buff women Nijisanji, and sometimes you gotta try being the change you want to see in the world when you have an audience as honky-chonky mega huge as mine. Her stats are honestly pretty balanced still. Most of the videos I didn't know where to put an 8, so I gave it a base +2, giving her a 12 strength, 10 dex, 14 con, 10 intelligence, 16 wisdom, and 16 charisma. Gave her the 16 wisdom and charisma because of her line during debut.
Do you like dragons? Mm-hmm.
You guys like
dragons? Yeah? Dragon D's nuts.
Devastating. Vicious.
Got him!
Incredible. Though, honestly, if you wanted, you could make her wisdom A because of Do You Think Diamond Slaylight's eternal song? Utterly low wisdom behavior. Either works. As you may have noticed, I said Elira was going to be a strength build, and then made her strength one of her worst stats. This is because I fucking lied to you! All of Elira's ability scores are going into feats, and the first of which is Magic Initiative Shillelagh from the Druid spell list. Yeah, I know I fudged the rules specifically to not be a druid, but this one is worth it, because it makes a quarterstaff or club D8 based weapon, and lets the caster use wisdom for attack and damage rolls. With it, Elira doesn't need strength to hit shit, because she has dragon magic, I guess. 2 other feats are going into Fey Touched and Shadow Touched, not because they really fit at all, or the total +2 to her Wisdom score is better than a 1 ASI into Wisdom, but because the idea of Elira being touched by dark magic and fairies is funny as fuck. And lastly, Warcaster, because if a sorcerer is going to be getting into melee, it's just really good to have. Now that you know what the fuck is going on with Elira's class, we can fill in the rest, quickly before this runs too long. She's a dragon, dragons are easy, dragonborn, boom. What kind of dragonborn is harder, but the sun is hot, and gold is yellow, so gold dragonborn is. It could be argued that night should be cold, and since Selene has fire, spoiler, that means they're inverted, and it would match Elira's colors of whites and very pale blues with cold, but that's also very dumb and I'm not doing it. We'll say she started level 1 as a sorcerer for the sake of her being a dragon at birth, give her intimidation and persuasion from her sorcerer skill proficiencies, and she gets the fucking garbage sorcerer equipment proficiencies. For her background, let's just give her the discovery from Hermit and say that discovery is how to properly train dragons or some shit, animal handling and like nature I guess for the skills, and say a language and sky vehicle proficiency. Good luck ever getting to use that though. And for her spells, fucking look. The sheet's in the description, she gets fucking 15 spells just from sorcerer alone. There are a lot of fire and air ones. Shape Change is the only 9th level one, Fireball is a given, fuck off. Oh, and I have included another sheet for Elira in the description, a level 5 ranger, because while it can't turn into a dragon, it's actually realistically playable if you want to do that, and might just be a more practical character overall. But with that finished, we're done! Finally! Now you have 3 character sheets based on your favorite VTubers, which can be found in the description below. And if one of these aren't your favorite VTuber, 1, what the fuck are you still doing here? And 2, you're in luck, because I will be making more of these soon for the rest of Nijisanji EN, and I can't keep all of you guys waiting, right? But yeah, that's everything. Use or change these stats however you want for your use. Remember to love each other, and don't be a fuckhead online. Take care.